Well. Good evening, everyone. Coming to you live at the conclusion of a win. That's all we can say. That's about all we can say. Iowa defeating Michigan State 20-17 inside the confines of Kinnick Stadium in the most unflattering, least spectacular fashion possible. Wow. I don't necessarily know what to say right now. We're gonna get to it and talk about it with everybody. Corey's on his way back to his home base, as you may have heard earlier in the week. He was in attendance for this game. Coach Patterson as well was in attendance for this game. They are both heading back to Coach Patterson's home base in the Iowa City area. So until then, you get me. You get me to rant and to give you my unfiltered thoughts. And we'll talk about it with some of you guys. I'm gonna drop the link here before we get started because I'd like to have some callers. Otherwise, it's just going to be me ranting the entire time. So I have dropped the link to call in to StreamYard in the description here in the chat. It's in the description of the video as well. So please do call in. Man, I got so many things to say. So many things to get to. Before we get started here, I'd like to hit a couple of our sponsor points just so that so we get those out of the way. Go ahead and name our RTI Threads player of the game. It's Caden Weegan on senior day. 3 returns, 147 yards, and a 62-yard punt return touchdown. Easily could have been the play of the game. We didn't realize how important it was at that point. But man, turned out to be their only offensive points for a while. So very happy to see this for Caden Weegan. I mean, he was explosive all night long. Michigan State could do nothing with him. I mean, all 3 punt returns that he had went for an average of 49 yards per per return, and even taking out the 62-yarder, he had a couple of nice 30 plus yard returns to set up scores. Really, the only scoring that Iowa did in the game was off of Caden Weegan returns. So very happy for Caden. Happy that he was able to go out and break Tim Dwight's record on senior day. If you didn't catch it on the broadcast, Tim Dwight broke Tim Dwight's record for most returns in a career at 6. Very happy for Caden Weegan there. Very special accomplishment on senior day and very deserving. Obviously, he's had some ups and downs at different points this season as an offensive player, but as a special teams player, he's been a superstar basically from start to finish. And we'd be very lucky to see another season of him. I don't think we will. He did say he was preparing for this to be his final game at Kinnick, but man, it's been very special. And I made the comment in our Discord chat. If you haven't joined Discord, please do so. $5 donation to Corey's Venmo or PayPal will get you in for a month, $50 for a year. But I did make the comment in our Discord, man, it's hard to imagine after Cooper DeJean that they would get an upgrade at returner. It's hard to believe that that's something that's even possible, and yet they did. So very happy for Caden. He's our RTI Threads player of the game. And our big play of the day is Jacob Gill's ridiculous 13-yard touchdown reception with 1:39 left to go in the fourth. Really saved the day for Iowa in many ways. It was an incredible catch. It was a really incredible catch. I had no faith in them in the red zone at that particular moment. I don't think any Iowa fans did. But Jacob Gill came and saved the day, and followed up by Reese Vanderzee on the ensuing drive after that to set up the Drew Stevens field goal. So our big play of the day, wide receiver Jacob Gill, 13-yard touchdown reception. Caden Weegan's our RTI Threads player of the game. All right. Now that that's out of the way, who wants to hear a rant? I'm going to try not to go off too much. We'll try to get to our callers here. I've got a couple of you guys in line. As much as I am happy, and we're going to put some comments up on the screen. People are going to say, "Oh, they got the win. They got the win." That was disgraceful, and everybody knows it. That was absolutely disgraceful what happened inside Kinnick Stadium today. All of the complaints about the team being snake bitten, about the refs screwing them, that all goes away today, okay? Whether they win or lose. This is not a football team that deserved to be in the playoff picture. It's just not. It's not a team that deserved for us to talk about them in that sense. They are weak in so many positions around the field. They played with no intensity today. It was embarrassing as a Hawkeye fan. There's some games that you watch and they play against decent competition. You feel like, okay, they just got outplayed, and that's very frustrating. Don't get me wrong. I come on here and I'm very frustrated with them when they do that. But this is different. This is totally different. Michigan State is 0-7 now, 0-8 in the Big Ten. They lost to some of the bottom feeders in the Big Ten by 15, 20, 25 points. They got blown out at home to UCLA by 25 points. They got destroyed by Indiana. They have been non-competitive in a lot of their games. They lost by double digits in every single Big Ten game that they have played in, except for Minnesota and tonight. So they played in 8 Big Ten games and were non-competitive in 6 of them. And they're playing without their starting quarterback. They play They played without their starting quarterback in one of the hardest places to play in the Big Ten against a team that's supposed to be known for tearing up backup quarterbacks. And the secondary looked like trash. The linebackers didn't play well. The offense couldn't do anything. They didn't have a pulse. I mean, I don't know what was up with Mark Gronowski today. We've lamented over and over again that he has these cold stretches, and I really don't know what gets into him. I don't know if maybe senior day was a little too big for him today. But he overthrew people like nobody's business today. He hit the goalpost on a 3rd down and goal in the red zone. Hit the goalpost throwing to Reese Vanderzee, and somebody messages me after that play and asks, does Mark Gronowski think that Victor Wembanyama is out there instead of Reese Vanderzee? Because he threw it 5 feet over his head. And I get it. The people are gonna comment, oh, this is a joke. This is horrible. Other people are gonna say I'm too hard on them because they won. Thank goodness they got through the game. That's all I'm gonna say. That was horrible. I'm so glad that they survived. But man, what an embarrassment. What a scare.
Are you ripping on a comeback victory here, Kyle? Are you
yes,
serious?
I'm ripping on a comeback victory. Of course I am.
Come on now.
Of course I'm ripping on a comeback victory.
Hey, 13-yard reception. I'll tell you what, I made this comment.
It was incredible. Those are 2 of the best wide receiver plays that I've seen in years from an Iowa Hawkeye receiver.
And so I know there's going to be a lot of negativity out there in the Hawkeye zone this evening. But as I mentioned to Coach Patterson, who's sitting down with me now, what a moment for Jacob Gill as a senior. What a moment for Mark Gronowski, who had a horrible day as a senior. And what a moment for Drew Stevens on senior day. I mean, you can't draw it up any better than that. But it certainly was not. It was not pretty. I think we can all agree.
Okay, can we just agree? They lose all excuse in this game for the snake bitten stuff, for the refs screwed them stuff, for the losing close games cost them stuff. Like they're just not. They don't deserve to be in the conversation. Can we agree on that?
We'll say that again.
All of the talk going through the week was the team is snake bitten. They're really good, but they're snake bitten. They get screwed by the refs. It's one play here or there. Yeah. They're not that good. Can we agree on that?
No, I'm not agreeing on that.
Why?
You're basing everything you just said on one game today, a game that they
won.
I'm
not. No, I'm
you
not.
Are. You're basing everything you just said on a game that we just saw against a crappy team in the Big Ten.
Where's their resume the rest of the season? Who's their best win?
It's not about who's their best win. What you just said what you just said lacks legs, because the fact of the matter is every good to elite team they've played has been a close loss. So they don't have the wins. Nobody's debating that.
They play games with a third. They play games with 60% of the possessions of most teams because they run the ball 50 times a game. Okay. They can't get blown out very often.
It's funny you say that because they've gotten blown. How many of those, that stretch of losses versus top 25 teams in the last 5 years, how many of those games were close?
They couldn't run the ball.
How many of those games were close? So
not very many of them.
They're predicated on running the ball. But listen, the bottom line is I'm not gonna overreact to a bad performance on senior day when they won the game. They found a way to win.
They did win the game against probably the worst Power 5 team or Power 4 team in the country.
You're coming on here and you're going to make me look bad, and I'm going to get ripped in the chat because everybody's raw, torches and pitchforks. But I can't do that after a win. I'm not going to.
I'm not being totally negative. The first 3 minutes or 4 minutes were positive. That was horrible. That team is embarrassing.
Right. We're going to add in Coach Don Patterson to the mix. Don is with us, and Don, we just got here. I mean, we booked it to get back from Kinnick Stadium.
You guys were quick, by the way.
We did our best to get here quickly. So thank you for ramping this thing up. But Don, just your thoughts on what happened tonight. I mean, how do you explain the lack of offense, and then how does the offense kind of find itself when it had to in the last few minutes of the game?
Well, you've always heard me say, Corey, that good teams win close games. Good teams win games that could go either way. Tonight was a game They can go either way. We found a way to be a good team today. It was ugly, but when the chips were down, we're the ones that came through, not Michigan State.
Just remember, Kyle, that Iowa pulled the pants off Minnesota, pulled the pants off Wisconsin. So when they've played crap teams in the conference this year, they've destroyed them. So that's a fact.
We're going to brag on those 2 wins.
No, we're not bragging on anything. I'm simply stating a fact. That's a fact. Like what you're saying is you're acting like it's fact that Iowa struggled today against Michigan State, and that's what you're basing your rhetoric on. But I'm simply responding and saying good teams also usually blow out crap teams. And what Iowa has done this year versus crap teams, they've usually blown them out. They did not tonight. Michigan State's a crap team. Don's not going to say it. I'll say it. That's a team that Iowa had no business being in this game.
No.
You're talking about a backup quarterback, a team that's 0-7 in the league.
Did you see their injury report, by the way?
No.
They had 16 guys out.
That's because some of them didn't want to play.
Is that true? Did they have guys declare for the draft and leave?
No. He's saying they don't want to. A team doesn't want to play when they're 0-7 in the league.
Like they could have suited up, but because of okay. I mean that's fair. They're still missing 16 of their starters, or 16 not of starters, but 16 of guys that have seen the field.
Yeah.
I think 4 or 5 of them were out for the season, and 10 of them were out for today.
Before we go on, we've got a few plugs to hit because we're going to be trying to keep this very short tonight, folks, because we've got Iowa women's basketball starting at 7 p.m. Big game against the Miami Hurricanes. So if we kind of had to, we're basically going to have to limit callers to 1 question, 1 comment, old radio style. So forgive us in advance, but we'll be back. RTI Threads is sponsoring our coverage. I've got the Cooper DeJean shirt on, but you can also shop Aaron Graves, Zach Lutmer, Jacob Gill, Carson Shire. And again, what a day for Carson Shire. What a day for Jacob Gill. What a day for Zach Lutmer. And Aaron Graves look good. So all the seniors stepping up there in a big way. RTIthreads.com/NIL to browse the selection. Big Grove Brewery is the official watch party headquarters of the Hawkeyes. We will have live coverage of Iowa and Western Illinois women's basketball next week, next Wednesday at the Big Grove Brewery in Omaha. We'll have a live show first, and then we'll have a watch party after, along with a postgame show. So Big Grove Brewery, visit any of the locations across Iowa or now in Omaha. And I saw plenty of Easy Eddie beers at the game today. So official watch party headquarters and official craft beer of the Hawkeyes. Of course, also Brad Van Meter and his team down at State Farm. Be sure you call Brad first thing Monday to get a quote on insurance, 515-256-6480, 515-256-6480, or visit Brad online, bradvanmeter.com. Again, that's Brad Van Meter at State Farm on Fleur Drive in Des Moines. Iowa Smokehouse also with us throughout football. Get your orders in now because this code is expiring soon, folks. Use the code Hawkeyes for 15% off your order. Order at iowasmokehouse.com. $50 orders will get free shipping. Country-style bacon meat sticks. Their jerky, their salsa, their barbecue sauces. It's all delicious. Again, iowasmokehouse.com. Use the code Hawkeyes. All right, let's go back to our phone line. Have you taken any calls yet, Kyle? I mean, I literally just hopped on here. So.
Oh, you joined 5 minutes in, 7 minutes in.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to our Iowa Smokehouse line. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Coach Don Patterson. Who's on the line?
Is it me?
It's you. You're on the air.
Hey, Corey. How you doing? Hey, it's Hank Jones. Hey, I predate you guys by a lot, but Coach Patterson actually has got a year on me.
Okay.
But, I got to say, look, I've been watching the Hawks forever. I've been a fan forever. And look, we didn't deserve to win this game. All that good stuff that Kyle talks about. Hey, lovely. Cool. We won. And guess what? It was a great final game for Jacob Gill. It was a great final game for Drew Stevens. Carson Shire, hey, why not? What the heck? The guy played an amazing game. He had some amazing stops.
He did.
Let's just soak in the win, and gosh, that's about all I can say. Let's just soak it in.
Well, and Hank, and I'll say this one more thing to Kyle. Kyle, you know that you and I often agree. My only issue with your take on this, and I was there at the game. I was not in the press box. 99% of the time, you're also in the crowd, not in the press box today. You were in the box, Don. But I will say I'm probably somewhat biased, but I think Hank has perspective as an older person. I am a person that in that moment.
I ain't that old.
Well, you just said you're older than Don.
I ain't that old. I am not. Look, I'm okay.
All right.
I'm not as old as Don. I was a freshman Don's second year with the program.
Oh, well,
So,
what am
come
I?
on, cut me a little bit of
Why
slack.
didn't you correct me, Don? What are you? Anyways, okay. So I apologize for that. You didn't sound old, but I thought you were saying you're older than Don. Regardless,
I didn't say I was older.
Kyle.
I predate you guys, except for Don.
All right, except for Don. All right, you predate. It's not hard to predate us, but Kyle, I will say, end of the year, senior day, last game in Kinnick. They've struggled to get to where they are, to get to 7 wins, but they did. So it is hard for me this late in the year, knowing that it's not like this is a team we're evaluating with playoff hopes in mind. This is a team we're just like, let's get another win. Let's get another win. Let's get another win. That's where we're at right now. So everything's put in perspective. Everything is relative. I get where you're coming from, but I agree with you, Hank. It was ugly, but a win's a win. They did find a way to win. And in this moment, I don't know if the rest of it matters in this moment.
And I'll close with this. What you just said, correct the mundo.
Thank you, Hank. Appreciate the call,
Thanks,
sir.
Corey.
Appreciate the time.
I don't disagree with you. I'm talking about program trajectory and that first half in specific, where Mark Gronowski went, I think it was 27 minutes with more completions to Michigan State than he did to Iowa.
I understand.
And part of it's not just that it was a close game necessarily. It looked again like such a regression. That's what it looked like. It looked like back to, and I'm not saying it's back to Brian Ferentz. I'm saying when you have, I'm not going to rant with Don here, but the passing attack in the first half and into the third quarter, and really the whole way through, they only scored on Weegen's big returns. That was the only time that they scored.
So when you say you look like such a regression, though, but you're basing that on one performance, correct or incorrect? You're basing it off one performance.
A little bit, but the second half in USC was just as bad.
Not a little bit, because first half against USC was quite good. They were up 21-10.
It was, and I give him credit for that. I said that.
Don, tell me what went wrong in the first half. How do you go a quarter and a half without a completion, without any pass yards, and go into the locker room as ugly as they did against a team that I projected as the worst team in the conference, a team that had no business being in that stadium, a team I thought would get beat by 3 touchdowns or more, a team that was favored by Vegas by nearly 3 touchdowns. Iowa was about a 3-touchdown favorite. So where did this go wrong? How do you come out so flat on senior day? Could it be emotions, given the fact that a bunch of guys were being honored pregame?
Maybe they were simply trying too hard. I think that might be the case.
Is there anything you saw out there that would give you indication that that is the case?
Well, I thought, just from Mark's standpoint, maybe the throws were not so much on target simply because he wanted so much to do well in his last game in Kinnick. I don't worry much about the O-line, D-line in their senior day games. I do worry about the positions that involve a lot of ball handling, like quarterback. I worry about them maybe being off a little bit because of the emotion tied to the game. And I know people would argue, Mark's only played 1 year at Iowa. Believe me, even if you heard the ovation given to Mark when he was introduced, the fans have embraced him. No, he's not the perfect quarterback, but is there any doubt in anyone's mind that he's a great young man that has done his very best to lead this team? No one would question that.
No one would question that, but it is a fair criticism as we look big picture. Kyle, I'll throw you a bone here in this statement that Mark, we have enough of a sample size now. This is no longer game 1 against Albany. We have enough of a sample size now to say that Mark has not been good as a passer this year, collectively. Is that fair to say? You coached quarterbacks. As a passer, he's been below average. Is that fair?
Well, I think it's safe to say the NFL may not be interested in drafting Mark, but maybe they will. I hope so.
Kyle's laughing at Kyle's laughing at the
possibility.
At the thought of it.
There's no way. There's no
Kyle,
way.
I was trying to be nice.
Coach, I'm not hating on Mark. I've actually stood up here and defended Mark all year.
Yes, you are.
No.
Yes,
no,
you
I
are.
have no.
Yes, you
Do not do that right now. Do not do that right now.
You are hating.
I was the first person that came in after like 3 different games and said, "This is not on Mark Gronowski. Leave him alone." I said that like 3 or 4 times in post games. Go back.
We don't need to be. We don't need to be all over here or all over there.
No,
That's
I'm not all over Mark. I'm not all over Mark today. Even the whole team they came out completely flat. I mean, and
Correct.
I don't know. Maybe it's just that they came out of USC, and this was. I guess this is part of it for me. Okay, and you pointed this out in your preview, and I think you're absolutely correct. Part of what makes me proud as an Iowa fan is when they don't have their goals in front of them, they still rally. Right? They still play with a ton of heart. They still play super hard. When they went down to 3-4 in 2022 and they rallied and they won 5 or 4 straight after that, it was really, really impressive. And I did not get the sense today that they came out with that level of heart, even given the circumstances.
So that may all be true. And I don't know the reason. Don, you talked about maybe some possibility of trying too hard, being amped up. I don't know the reason they came out flat either. But can we all agree they rallied when it mattered most and found a way to win? Teams that mailed it in and that were checked out today, what reason would you have to come back from 10 down?
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
I mean, you just wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
Michigan State had belief and life. That team, I mean, that sideline there was energy, there was emotion on that Michigan State sideline when they got that lead. I mean, that's a team that they're not playing for a bowl game. They're playing for pride. They played loose. They played free. And
you guys are probably playing for future NIL contracts is probably all they have to play for at this point, and their school, obviously. But
yeah, I mean, their head coach may not have a job here in a couple of weeks.
Well, you've always heard me say, if one team is the decided underdog, what you don't want to do is continue to give them encouragement.
Yeah.
Encouragement that they can pull it off. We certainly gave them encouragement. And at that point, that you are going to see a fanatical effort. We still managed to overcome Michigan State's impressive effort.
Let's go to our Iowa Smokehouse call-in. But before we do, big plug for RTI Threads player of the game, Caden Weegan. 3 punt returns, 147 yards, a 62-yard punt return. And then the big return that set Iowa up again when they blew field position off a shanked punt by Michigan State.
Right.
Caden Weegan, I tweeted this out during the game, Don. I was not alive during the Tim Dwight era. However, we know what his numbers are. You experienced both eras, and you coached him. Is it fair to say Caden has to be talked about now as potentially the greatest punt returner to ever play at Iowa?
He's certainly in the same conversation that Tim's in.
And
those are 2 exceptional punt returners.
Yeah.
Most schools have never had one like either one of those 2.
And he's a guy who, he's a walk-on at one time, grew up in Williamsburg, went to JUCO. Last year, I mean, he was an unknown before the season started. To some extent, we knew he had speed, but you're coming off a Cooper DeJean era. Those were big shoes to fill.
Right.
And he's not only filled those, he's set a new marker.
Yeah.
He has been better. He has been a better punt returner than Cooper DeJean.
I opened up when we went live and I said it's hard to believe that they could have Cooper DeJean as a punt returner and actually upgrade after he left. The other thing I would say too, and I don't know if you've looked at any of this stuff, Corey, but does he have a good chance of getting drafted as a specialist?
We were just talking about that on the way home. I really don't know.
Because if anyone would get drafted as a specialist, it would be him, right?
Well, I mean look at Charlie Jones isn't playing much for the Bengals, but he is returning kicks.
He's returning kicks. Yeah.
Punts.
And as we were driving home, I made the comment to Corey, because as I understand it, Corey understands it, if he chooses to, he can actually come back for another year. Is that true?
There's a potential of that, because I asked him that question at Media Day, and he kind of joked about it, but he said, yeah, there's a possibility, but I just don't know how his stock gets any higher at this point.
Is he waiting on the lawsuit? Is that what? Who's the guy that's suing for the extra year?
The Vandy, no, not the Vandy quarterback.
The Pavia. Yeah, I think it is Pavia. Yeah, it's Pavia. Yeah, so he's waiting on the outcome because whatever their circumstances are the same. So
and that could potentially have further ramifications than just Caden Weegan. There are other guys on the roster like a Bryce George who hasn't played much this year.
Right.
That he played D2, or I believe D2 or D3, but is that affected by it as well? I mean, there's questions that need to be answered.
The comment I made to Corey is simply this: I think at this point he's done enough as a return specialist to warrant being drafted at least in one of the later rounds.
I think so too.
I'd be surprised if somebody wouldn't take him later in the draft.
And I'd be curious what does do we know what a 7th round draft pick gets paid if he got drafted?
I'm not sure anymore.
Because I,
No, but
I
not-
bet you Iowa would match that, whatever it is,
well,
to have him come back if they could.
yeah, no, I made the comment. If he's got eligibility, how much NIL money are you willing to spend on Caden Weegan next year?
And I don't think anybody in the athletic department even knows that answer, because I don't know that we have any idea how much money we
Did
will
Michigan State
Yeah.
figure out the way, though, late in the game? Did they figure out, besides that late return, did they kind of figure out a way to avoid punting to him?
have. The quick kicks?
The pooch punts?
The
Is
pooch
that
kick.
sort of
That was fun. I like that. That was fun.
sort of a way around it? I mean,
Yeah, keep him off the field.
all right. RTI Threads player of the game, Caden Weegan, and Big Grove's big play of the day, Jacob Gill's 13-yard touchdown reception. It was RVZ. It was Jacob Gill with 2 phenomenal catches and 2 well-placed balls by Mark Gronowski.
And I'm so happy for Jacob Gill, because I've gotten to know him pretty well. He is a wonderful young man. We're really fortunate to have him on our team. And you're just so happy for guys in their last game in Kinnick that it's a memory that's absolutely worth remembering.
And Jacob's parents, Melvin, Lisa, shout out to them. They're great people. They were at Kinnick, of course, as all the senior parents were, and very happy for them as well. So Iowa defeating Michigan State 20-17. We're going quick hitters on our callers. So we'll go to our Iowa Smokehouse line first with Alex. Alex, welcome to the show.
Good evening. I will buzz through this quick so you can get to other people. So
Yep.
I put two pages of notes, a lot of WTFs, what the WTF is the play calling, what the WTF is Mark doing, what WTF call a timeout in that first half, WTF what the refs are looking at. The one guy moved before the ball was snapped on Michigan State, and then that weird delay of game on defense when the guy flinched on the offensive line and then the refs gave Iowa the penalty. And then where was Jazz Patterson? He looked like a good run. TJ Washington got in there and got a massive -8 yards. Again, what WTF is the play calling? And then
we don't need we do need the abbreviation, so I don't want him to say it on the air, but I get the point. Yeah.
But and then what was the last thing I wrote that maybe it also in the game we talked about how bad the offense is, and specifically in that second half we got super literal. It was run pass punt, run pass punt, and it didn't seem like we were being creative enough. It almost felt like we were being led by Brian Ferentz again. But I'm happy. I'm happy we got the win. I'm not happy how it came about, because this takes years off my life, and I'm not that old. But anyways, I'll get off so you can take some other callers, but thanks for taking it.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it. And Don, real quick, he brought up play calling. Appreciate all his comments, but play calling, this was not Tim's best day, was it?
No, it was not. Let me just give you an example of something that is so different than their first 7 games. In their first 7 games, all losses within conference, they were beaten in all 7 games on critical down conversions. So logically, you would think this is what should happen today. We're going to do a better job of staying on the field with our offense by converting on 3rd down. And the other side of that coin, we're going to do a better job of getting off the field with our defense. Again, because they're 0 for 7. And I just looked at the numbers, and guess who won critical downs? As I suspected, it wasn't us.
Yeah.
Michigan State was 4 for 16, 25%. I think we were 1 for 11 or 1 for 12. We were horrible on 3rd downs.
Yep. Yeah, and that,
1 for 11.
And I tried to comb through the stats before my preview earlier this week. I could not find a stat that impressed me by Michigan State other than they didn't get penalized a lot. But I'm starting to think there's a conspiracy, and the Big Ten just doesn't throw flags on Big Ten teams, because it seems like everybody in the Big Ten is top 50 in fewest penalties. I'm serious. I just don't think officials in this league throw the flag as much as others. I don't think that stat means anything comparative to the rest of them.
I think some leagues certainly throw more flags than others, yes.
All right, let's go to our next Iowa Smokehouse caller, OS for Hawks. OS for Hawks, welcome.
Good evening, gentlemen. Can you hear me all right?
We got you.
Okay, good. Well, I have a new laptop. That's the reason I asked that question. Just 2 really quick things.
Yep.
In the first half, Gronowski looked frustrated on 2 different passes. There's a pass to Gill on the sideline where it looked like Gill cut the pattern off, and Gronowski threw it to the outside. And if you from on TV, they looked at Gronowski, and you could see that Gronowski kind of just lifted his hand up like, what are you doing? And then the same thing happened when he threw the interception to Weegan. Like, okay, I'm throwing it, here, he's throwing the ball, and it's like Weegan must have given up on the pattern. I don't know. It just seemed like he was frustrated by that.
Let me come in with the second one. That ball absolutely should not have been thrown.
Okay.
Weegan was covered. It was an over route. He was covered. The ball should not have been thrown. Poor decision on the route.
Yep. But he was definitely frustrated on that throw to Gill. But then I'm going to preface that and come back and say I don't want to say screaming, but we have been going on and on and on all year. Every time I watch this about wide receivers, and we're not. Guess what? In crunch time, when we were down and this was looking like a Western Michigan loss, my buddy and I were texting, and we were talking about that, how this felt like Western Michigan all over again from years ago, but it didn't happen. We came back, 2 wide receivers made great catches, and it basically won us the game. And I'm just thrilled that we did win. So, and by the way, I just wanted to say, Corey, Coach, Kyle, thank you guys. I love the show. I love watching. I love all the rhetoric. I'm more of a kind of glass half full kind of guy. So,
So
sue
in other words,
me for being positive.
what you're trying to say is, Kyle, you suck. OS for Hawks, thank you for the call, sir. We appreciate you.
I would not say that. He's a golfer. I love all golfers because I used to be a really good one. So thank you.
Appreciate the call. All right, rolling along here on our Iowa Smokehouse call line.
Corey's trying to bury me tonight, guys.
Oh, you did it yourself. Go ahead, Don. You got something you wanted to add?
Well, you'll find this interesting. There's a prediction model that going into today's games, the record was 53 wins and 1 loss. That is 98.1% win. I just did the numbers for our game today. Guess what? The prediction model indicated the winner today was Michigan State. And here's the rest of that story. The other exception game also involved Michigan State. It also was overtime, and it was against Minnesota at Minnesota.
Well, this game didn't go to overtime, but
that's true.
But fair.
It was close enough.
It did.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our next Iowa Smokehouse caller. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Coach Don Patterson. Who's on the line? Hello, you're on the air.
Hello, can you hear me?
We got you.
Awesome. I just wanted to say a couple of things. I think it's been a long, hard season for the team. They had a lot of tough losses. They played really hard. They just came from the West Coast, tough loss. I think we just got to cut them some slack. They're human, And they didn't have the best game, but that happens sometimes. They're human beings. It's kind of hard to get up when you've been playing for the playoff and all this excitement. Now you're playing against Michigan State. It's a little tougher. So I cut up some slack on this one.
Good comment. Appreciate your call, sir. Good comment.
Yeah.
Are you feeling any better, Kyle? I mean, those are all factors. Senior day, you're no longer playing for any hope of the playoff. You're coming off a disappointing trip to California in a loss. You're playing a team that has nothing to lose. I'm not saying those are reasons. And if they had lost this game, Kyle, I'd be right there with you. But they didn't. So
this is my thing. This goes back to my analytics stuff. Why is the outcome determining how we evaluate the play? That's the antithesis of everything that numbers tell me.
Well, we can look at this big picture in 2 weeks. We can look at a big picture in 2 weeks. But what's the point right now? I'm saying, what is the point right now of looking?
Because in 2 weeks, most casual fans are going to forget. So what's the point in waiting 2 weeks?
We won't forget.
We won't. I mean, no, I'm not calling you casual fans.
We don't have a lot of casual fans.
True.
That's true.
I do have a question for Don because I've kind of been flicking back and I'm trying to look for a pattern on Senior Day, right? And it's kind of hard to find because Nebraska is a Senior Day game a lot of times, and I find it difficult to evaluate on the basis of was it Senior Day that caused a bad performance or a good performance when it's a rivalry game. But I mean, Don, go back through your archives when you're at Iowa. is senior day usually a helpful factor? Is it a disappointment? I mean, the only other games that I can think of, I mean, Illinois in 2021, they started off really slow, right? And then Charlie Jones returned the kickoff touchdown, and then they were off to the races. But it was pretty slow until then. I'm trying to think back, previous games. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because I did the research before I spoke yesterday at the luncheon. I was able to tell them, here's maybe, we talked about all the different analytics. Now, here's the ultimate reason why we're going to win the game. It's senior day. And here's the truth. 6 of our last 7 senior days were wins, regardless of who we're playing. We won 6 out of 7.
But most of those, but real quick,
I'll admit they were nail biters.
But
They're
most
close,
of those teams were against Nebraska or
bad Nebraska teams. Yeah,
Oh, Illinois a couple of times.
Illinois wasn't that good either.
Yeah, but Michigan State's not any good. So
You're right.
Yeah.
And you go to the other extreme, none of those senior day wins were against teams right to the top 25.
all right, we got to go back to our Iowa Smokehouse line. We got Quincy here for a quick one. Quincy, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks a lot. Been watching darn near since day one. Own a bar, so I never get a call in. So I'm gracious. I'd love it that I can make it in here. And you stole all my thunder. I had all of the return guys ready from Timmy D, which was my freshman year up there, through Charlie and everybody. I'd throw in Amir Smith-Marset. And even the average ones. Wasn't Ed Hinkle like second or third in the Big Ten? He wasn't like a national guy, but I was thinking he was like up there.
I was gonna say real quick, one guy that didn't get mentioned that should be is Desmond King, who made it.
Desmond King, exactly.
Out of that as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And I'd say
So-
this about all those return specialists. The one thing we're not talking about are those other 10 guys on the field. Because I promise you the specialists would give a lot of credit to their teammates for providing them with room to run.
And that is exactly, I would love to see some type of if you ever want to do like an in-depth episode or something, I would love to see sitting down with post and current special teams coaches. Is this 50-50? Are they injecting super serum into Iowa boys and, they just injected somebody they're going to recruit in 2040? Is it the Rain Man genius that knows how to do the algorithms to get the blocks all right? For a team that can't get elite talent in so many skill positions, how they do it over and over.
And it's interesting, Corey, just real quick. It's interesting with Iowa as well. Like obviously kicker and punter have some fluctuation because it's kind of, it's not a one-man job necessarily. You got holder and snapper and all that stuff. But as far as like the team units, right? The gunners are always spectacular and the kick return blocking is always spectacular. Anything that's special teams wise, that's a full team unit activity, they seem to be really, really good at and have been ever since I've started watching.
Real quick, I want to say this too. Jarrell Johnson-Koulianos is a pretty good return guy as well. But I just wanted to add on to the speculation. Just throw this out there. Charlie Jones was a Buffalo kid. He's a Chicago kid who played at Buffalo. So they didn't identify him at high school. They bring him as a no-name transfer. And you guys had a Charlie Jones that played for you as well. I remember bringing him up like, this guy Charlie Jones on the roster. Wonder if he'll see the field at some point because Iowa was, of course, horrible at receiver at that time. Caden Weegan, same thing, goes to a smaller school, much smaller school. At JUCO, ends up coming back as a walk-on. We knew he returned. He was a return specialist there, but I wasn't aware of anything,
Was he at Iowa Western?
Was it Western?
Yes.
Okay. For some reason,
they've got some talent. That's one I'd like to keep close eye on.
It wasn't Sioux. It wasn't Sioux Falls.
I think it was Iowa Western.
It may have been Western. I was thinking it was Sioux Falls. That's why I paused. But regardless, and then Desmond King, was he not a MAC decommit? Wasn't he committed to a MAC school initially? I was thinking he was.
That sounds right.
But I could be wrong. So no, it is weird. It's one of those things. It's like how do these guys keep falling into the lap of Iowa? Because some of those guys, like you brought up Desmond, and he was a great corner. Some of those guys weren't under LeVar Woods' discretion. Those were
it's been generations long.
Yeah.
So good call. Appreciate the call, Quincy. I know you're busy, but don't be a stranger to the show.
I'll do my best.
Our selection of punt returners does have a positive impact on the unit we have right now because they see the tradition there too.
True. There is something to be said there. All right, let's go to our next Iowa Smokehouse caller. We got Vincent. Vincent, welcome.
I'm going to actually back Kyle, Corey, and I'm sure you're not going to agree with it, but that's
Thank you, Vincent. Somebody tonight.
And here's the two factors that I think are abundantly clear, especially as spectators. Was today a regression? Absolutely. The whole first half was garbage when it came to play calling with Tim Lester. I don't know why we wanted to try to get tricky or fancy or cute. This is Big Ten football, Big Ten opponent. We didn't do that. But also the second thing, which I think Don and Kyle did kind of allude to, the impact of senior day. Does it have an impact? Absolutely, at least from my perspective. Because when you have a bunch of guys, as many as we have, that are seniors playing today's game, they're replaying their careers in their head. So it brings their emotional level low. So it kind of, to say it doesn't impact their game, it absolutely does. But was today a regression? Absolutely.
Vincent, we appreciate you. And I promise I'm not cutting you off because I disagree with you. You know, I love having this back and forth, but I do appreciate your perspective.
No. Are you under the weather?
No. Do I sound like I'm under the weather? I was just at a game. I was just at a ball game. I'm an Iowa guy. I'm an Iowa fan at heart.
Oh no, I didn't know. I didn't know. Maybe I know when you go to Iowa games, your voice gets hoarse. But I'm like, maybe Corey's got a cold.
No. I'm not under the weather. No.
Anyway, last thing is the only other thing I wanted to say. I know you're going quick. These are those games that are frustrating as fans when you play down the competition that you should be easily handling. These are the tough ones to swallow. But hey, a win's a win. Other than that, guys, have a great night.
Thanks, Vincent. And by the way, Kyle, you're getting ripped in the chat. And I'm
no, I know. I'm here for it. And you know what? None of you will call in. None of you will call in.
Hey, I'm fair. You're looking right at me, buddy boy, right now. That's what
I know, but that's why I can have this conversation with you, and I'm not taking it from them because they won't call in.
Just a reminder, Cal, if you're referred to as buddy boy, that's not a good thing.
Oh no, I know.
For me, it's not so harsh, but regardless, let's go to our next Iowa Smokehouse caller, our phone line. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Coach Patterson. Who's on the line? Hello, you're on the air.
This is Pat.
Hey, Pat.
Hi, how you doing?
I know where this is going. Go ahead, Pat.
I don't know if you do.
I know exactly where it's going. Go ahead.
You're Tim Lester. I don't know if he has a brother, but let's pretend he has a brother. His brother calls him up and says, "How do you feel about your move?" And Tim goes, "Well, it's going pretty good. You know, I was in the pros, and then I was the head coach of a correctional school in Michigan, and now I've moved on, and I'm offensive coordinator at Iowa in my second year, and in all the games I've coordinated, we passed for 200 yards, I'm guessing here, 5 times. If you're Tim Lester, Corey, are you sitting back and saying, why did I take this job?
No, I'm saying.
And tell me why do you think he's happy to be at Iowa?
All right. Thank you, Pat. Appreciate the call. I'll tell you, first, I don't know if he's happy to be at Iowa. Let me just simplify all of this by saying they have got to develop a passing game next year. No ifs, ands, or buts. Year 3, I gave him tons of grace in year 1. Year 2, I'm like, okay, maybe they can get it going. Okay, now I don't care that Mark Gronowski's gone. They have to be able to throw the ball next year, and if they don't, then his job should be on the line. I'm serious.
And this is, by the way, Corey, I'm not going in on Lester today. I don't think he was good today, but I'm not going in on him because from a big picture perspective, he doesn't have all his guys yet. He's only been here 2 years.
I don't know. This is not a 10-year project anymore, Kyle.
No, it's not. But you can wait. You can wait 3 years, 4 years.
No, you're not waiting 4 years for coordinators, Don. Not in this day and age. You are not waiting 4 years for a coordinator.
Well, okay, he's given enough results in the run game to give him 3 years on the pass game.
3 years. That's what I'm saying. Next year's the money.
Next year,
you better figure it out. If at year's end this passing game looks the same, I don't know that Kirk would do it, but if Kirk's still here, you got to look at making a change. And I like Tim Lester a lot, but the passing game can't take this. It cannot take that long to figure out.
I'll say it this way: the numbers are better, but not what we need.
Yeah. Let's go back to our Iowa Smokehouse call line. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Coach Patterson. Who's on the line?
Rich in Michigan.
Hey, Rich. Can you turn your computer down for us, Rich?
I sure will.
your TV? Because I can hear myself. See if we can get that down. There we go.
Yeah. Kyle, I completely disagree with you. And the only thing I would say, if you were an Iowa fan in the 20-year drought of not having a winning season, you would be a fan of somebody else.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate your call.
That's not true.
Hey, perspective perspective is money.
Okay, for everybody in the chat that's ripping on me, okay? The only reason I'm harsh is because I love them. The only reason I'm harsh is because I love them, because I want to see them do better. And this was hard to see as somebody that started the year with a lot of hope. And I genuinely, I told you, I called in after the Albany game and I said, we walked into Albany with a lot of hope. And I was really optimistic that Mark would be the guy that would start to turn it around. I believed in Lester. I thought he had a good year last year, given with what he had to work with. It's people saying that, I'm saying what I'm saying because I hate Iowa is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
The reason I am enjoying this is not because the reason I'm enjoying it is because it's all organic. I came on here. I'm being authentic and I'm giving you my honest evaluation. And I love the fact that you have a different opinion because it makes for better, quote unquote, television. And I'm usually the one getting absolutely destroyed by the people who are keyboard warriors. So it's totally fun, Kyle.
No, it's fun. I'm here for it. I enjoy it.
All right. This might be our final caller because Iowa women's basketball just tipped off down in Orlando against Miami. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Coach John Patterson. Who's on the line?
Gentlemen, this is John. We'll keep this real quick. In an interview with Brad Heinrich, somebody said that the university would match what he would get to go to the NFL. According to Brad, they pay the player a certain amount of money. If they need more money to get a player, that all comes from the swarm. It has to go through a clearinghouse. And he said that there is only 2 to 3 people doing the whole clearinghouse for the country and that it takes forever.
Well, okay. I don't know. The clearinghouse is the new situation with the NCAA revenue sharing and trying to limit these deals that are not really deals. I don't know how long the process takes, but if he gets a deal, say, from a local dealership and they say, and our dealership's not going to pay him $1 million, but if you get a couple of businesses together and they say, we want you to advertise with us, and we'll collectively get you $1 million, I don't know how that wouldn't be eventually cleared through this NCAA clearinghouse because that's a legitimate deal. What the clearinghouse is there to do is to prevent donors from just feeding money to recruits or to even players that are currently on the roster to remain. Because we have revenue sharing, we're supposed to try to get more structure in place. So you may be right, John. I'm sure that's what Brad said, but I just would think if there's a legitimate business company NIL deal there's still plenty of NIL deals being swung to land big fish across that hasn't gone away.
Yeah.
We're just trying to limit. And again, I don't know how effective it's been. We just started this revenue sharing thing in July. This clearinghouse thing just came into effect in July, John.
Yeah. Well, isn't it like $600? Anything over $600 has to go through the clearinghouse?
Anything over $600.
That's crazy.
So, John, thanks for calling in, sir. All right, good stuff all the way around. Yeah, and I know we're not done talking about this game. Bleed. I can't read this. Bleed old gold and blue. Says Nebraska doesn't scare me. Go women's basketball. MSU.
Michigan State sold. They sold the game.
Michigan State sold. Hi, Don. That's our one super chat for the day. And folks, again, I promise you, we're not done talking about this game because if you follow the channel, you follow me. We have basically live coverage every week, multiple times per week. We'll be doing basketball coverage throughout this coming week, and we've got a live show coming up in Omaha. Big thank you before we go to Brad Van Meter and his State Farm team in Des Moines. Get a quote on insurance. Auto insurance rates have gone way down, according to Brad, for State Farm customers. So call him and see how he can help you save money. 515-256-6480 or online at www.bradvanmeter.com. Also, Iowa Smokehouse. Use that code Hawkeyes for 15% off your order of meats, salsas, barbecue sauces, ketchups, and more. iowasmokehouse.com. Use the code Hawkeyes for 15% off. Get free shipping with any $50 order. And as we mentioned at the outset, RTI Threads, thank you so much for being with us this year. Caden Weegens, our RTI Threads player of the game, with 3 punt returns for $147, including a 62-yard punt return for a touchdown. But it did not outweigh Big Grove's big play of the day, Jacob Gill's 13-yard touchdown reception to get Iowa back in the game. And, of course, Iowa found a way in the end to win this thing. Final score 20-17 from Kinnick Stadium on Senior Day. Kyle, I hope people know your Twitter handle, because your mentions are gonna be full by the end of the evening if they do. So
I hope so.
I'll make sure to let everybody know. All right, for Don Patterson, I'm Corey Brada. That's Kyle Spence. I'll be live with you here in a couple of hours after Iowa women's basketball versus Miami. We'll talk to you soon.